While the world gets lost in crises, wars, and inflation, there is a quiet country doing something that could change everything, and almost no one notices. Norway.
A small, cold country where time seems to move to a different rhythm, where a billionaire and a fisherman share the same bus, where there are no flashy mansions or cars screaming wealth, and yet it's one of the richest and most stable countries on the planet. In the next few minutes, you'll discover what Norway is doing right now, something that could completely redefine how we think about wealth, power, and the future. The strangest part? Almost nobody is talking about it. While many countries try to prove their power with armies, skyscrapers, and headlines, Norway chose a silent path, one of discretion and planning. It's not just a cultural attitude, it's deliberate policy. Since the 1970s, Norway has been converting oil profits into a gigantic sovereign wealth fund, now worth more than 19.5 trillion Norwegian kroner, roughly 1.8 trillion US dollars. No politician can touch that capital freely. It is invested with discipline, ethics, and a long-term vision. They don't waste the profit, they plant the world of tomorrow. Instead of spending, they invested that capital in stocks, bonds, and real estate around the globe. And they created one simple, sacred rule: use only the returns, never the principal.
The result: wealth that doesn't show itself in mansions, but in education, health, and social security. And that, paradoxically, gives the country real power without ostentation. In a fishing village, that silence turns into better schools, secure pensions, and even the newborn boy there, without knowing it, carries a fraction of the world. That's why Norway doesn't shout about its wealth, it whispers it. And it's that whisper, more than the numbers, that keeps the world from seeing what's happening there. Back in the 1960s, Europe was still healing from wars. Factories were being rebuilt, countries were struggling to restructure, and in the far north, between icy seas and snow-covered mountains, a small country was about to change the course of its history: Norway. Fishermen began to see something different in the waters of the North Sea, metal platforms rising on the horizon. It was oil, black gold, surfacing beneath the ice. For many countries, that would be the start of an era of luxury, mansions, corruption, the same cycle that destroyed entire economies that believed oil was infinite. But Norway paused to think. Instead of chasing immediate profit, the government convened experts, economists, and local leaders. One of them, the finance minister at the time, said a line that still echoes today: "Oil is a dangerous gift. It can build a country or destroy it." With that awareness, they decided to do the unthinkable: create a model no nation had tried before. A fund not for the present, but for the future. Every drop of oil taken from the North Sea would, in part, be saved, invested, multiplied, not to enrich politicians, but to ensure that when the oil ran out, and it would one day run out, the Norwegian people would still have a future. While the world saw oil as an end, Norway saw it as a beginning, the start of the largest financial reserve ever created by a nation. Thus was born the Government Pension Fund Global, a simple name for what would become the largest sovereign wealth fund on Earth. Today, it holds stakes in roughly 8,500 to 9,000 companies worldwide. Its average share reaches about 1.5% of all publicly listed shares globally, which means that behind nearly every famous logo you recognize, there's a piece of this silent vault. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and alphabet. All of them are among the fund's major investments. Their mantra was this: we will not spend the capital, we will cultivate it for the future. And that's what they did. The fund didn't stay trapped in oil. It invested in smartphone manufacturers, cloud giants, and the companies you use every day. While many expected mansions, yachts, and extravagance, they built an invisible mechanism that crosses borders, sectors, and generations. They don't spend the profit, they plant the profit, and the world nearly doesn't see what's happening. There is a word that defines the Norwegian spirit: Janteloven, the law of Jante, an unwritten law, but one etched into the soul of the people. It says, you are not to think you are better than anyone else. To the modern world, that may sound limiting, but in Norway, it's the opposite. It's a reminder that true value isn't in showing off, it's in contributing. That mentality shaped a whole nation. Humility, prudence, and collective responsibility. So when oil spurted from the North Sea, they didn't see black gold. They saw a test to prove whether they could resist the temptation that destroyed other empires, and they resisted.
While other countries raised skyscrapers and drowned in luxury, Norway raised something invisible, a silent pact with the future. No citizen could become a billionaire overnight. No politician could touch the money without purpose. They decided oil would be only the beginning, not the end. And perhaps the most curious thing of all is this: a whole nation guided by a philosophical, almost spiritual idea that taught that to prosper is not to accumulate, but to preserve. That is Norway's true wealth, built in silence, sustained by discipline, and protected by a belief the rest of the world hasn't yet understood. In recent years, something even more fascinating has started to happen. Norway, the country that built its wealth on oil, is unplugging from it. While the world still fights over barrels, they are stepping away by choice. Why? Because oil, once a symbol of power, has become a reminder of a past that is fading. Climate change, electric cars, the clean energy revolution all point to the same destination. Black gold is losing its shine. But Norway didn't wait for the end. Once again, they anticipated. Today, every dollar from oil is turned into a seed, and those seeds are being planted in new soil, renewable energy, biotechnology, artificial intelligence, and green innovation. They are financing startups that build sustainable batteries, offshore wind research centers, and even technologies that remove carbon directly from the air. While other countries argue about the future, Norway is quietly building it. The Sovereign Wealth Fund, born of oil, is now also the engine of the clean revolution. They use the profits of the past to finance the future. And the most curious thing? There are no grand speeches, no triumphant headlines. The transition happens as everything in Norwegian culture does, with calm, precision, and purpose. It's as if the country says to the world once more, while you run, we plan. And maybe that's Norway's real secret. It doesn't seek to win the present. It seeks to belong to the future. Norway has just over 5 million inhabitants, fewer than many cities around the world. And yet, it carries one of the most solid economies, the highest levels of trust, and one of the most satisfied populations on the planet. But what truly impresses is not the numbers, it's the mindset. While much of the world turns wealth into status, Norway turns it into stability. While others accumulate, they preserve. And while many think about today, they build for tomorrow. Norway understood something almost no one noticed. Wealth is not about having a lot, it's about using what you have well. They proved that power isn't in money itself, but in the consciousness of how to use it. And maybe that's what makes that small country so big, the ability to think collectively in a world obsessed with the individual. Because in the end, the true strength of a nation is not in its resources, but in its values. Norway is quietly designing a model of the future many countries will try to copy, a future where growth doesn't depend on destruction, but on intelligence, a future where silence is worth more than noise. Norway teaches us that what's hidden isn't always a secret. Sometimes it's simply wisdom the world isn't ready to understand yet. Now, I want to know from you, do you believe Norway's quiet model could work in other countries? Or does it only work where ego doesn't speak louder than wisdom? And tell me, which nation would you like to see featured in the next video? There are hidden stories in every corner of the planet. You just have to know where to look. So follow the channel to catch the next stories. If this one made you see the world differently, like and share. There are truths the news will never tell, but that deserve to be discovered.